Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Hold My Nuggets Incorporated for your 2019 NFL Week 16 pregame analysis show, prediction show. I am your host, the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Chiseled Adonis. Now, we got a ton of games with playoff implications. We've already got 3 teams that have locked up their divisions. We got 4 other teams that can lock up their divisions with wins this Sunday. And on Saturday, let's first break it down. AFC South taking on NFC South. First game of the week, Saturday, 1 p.m. We got the Houston Texans traveling to Tampa Bay to take on Jameis, opening drive, INT, crab legs, Winston, and the Tampa Bay Bucks. Now, I can say this much. This game, I would love to lean and say Houston's just going to wrap it up, win their division, and leave that W. Because although they do have a 1-game lead over Tennessee, apparently there's a conference lead. So for Tennessee, they need Houston to not only lose, but they need to beat Houston again next week in order to win the division. That's very odd to me. Never really experienced that before, at least to my knowledge. I'll probably have seen it happen, but it's just not coming to mind. Whatever the case may be, this is going to be a very interesting game. Now, again, I said I'd love to say Houston would win this game, but damn it, Tampa Bay's offense is firing on all cylinders. We saw Denver 2 weeks ago absolutely massacre Houston at home. Houston now going on the road, but they did bounce back, taking on a very tough Tennessee team last week and giving them an L. But I gotta go and lean more towards Houston. Gotta lean more towards Tampa Bay, man. I gotta lean more towards Tampa Bay. I think Houston kind of has that, the relaxation in their shoulder pads because they know they're taking on Tennessee next week and they can wrap up the division, or they have another opportunity to close things out because a win clinches them a wild card berth regardless. It clinches them a postseason berth regardless, but they still do have a little bit of wiggle room. So even if they lose this week, they can always bounce back next week. And something about Tampa, I feel as if this team is destined to at least win one of their last 2. I think this will be the one where they do get that W. I think Jameis Winston, he's been balling the past couple of weeks, although he has been throwing INTs to boot, but I still do feel as if this man can go out there and prove, hey, I'm a QB who belongs in this league and I deserve to still have my job, and regardless of the fact that guys laugh at me left and right, I think Jameis is going to go out there and ball. I think that Chris Godwin's going to have a very good game. I don't think the Texans cornerbacks, the Texans secondary can guard, Tampa Bay's wide receiver attack, but at the same time, I don't believe Tampa's defense will be able to guard Houston's offense. I think Houston can get the run game going. I think Carlos Hyde, Duke Johnson, they can get it going on the ground for Houston. This is really a game that could go either way, man. Here's a game that could go either way. I would have loved to say Houston comfortably, but for some apparent reason, I feel like Tampa could mess around and pull off the upset. I think it's going to be relatively close. I think if it becomes a turnover battle, if Jameis goes out there and throws 3 picks, I'm pretty sure they're going to lose this game. This is going to be one of those 3 picks from Jameis, but 4 touchdowns from Jameis, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win. I think if Jameis throws multiple interceptions, this game's over, and Houston will win. I think offensively, they'll be able to take advantage of that Tampa defense, but it's just something about Tampa's offense where I believe they'll be able to score much more often than Houston will be able to score. So I'm going to lean more towards Tampa Bay to win this game. However, if Jameis throws multiple picks, it doesn't have to be 3, it don't have to be 4, it's just 2. If Jameis throws 2 picks, Houston wins this game. But I'm leaning towards Tampa. I say Tampa is walking away with this W. Next, we got an AFC East battle where New England can pretty much wrap up their division with a win here. Now, it's them hosting the Buffalo Wild Wings Bills, who just got a big-time W last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. Now, this is interesting because we have seen these teams do battle year in, year out, but whenever it comes to playing in New England, Buffalo always struggles. And I'll say this much. You saw early in the season, Buffalo should have been getting the W. You should have got the W had Josh Allen not got hurt and Matt Barkley had to come in and relieve him. But I'll say this much. This is going to be a battle of the defense. New England ranked number 1. Buffalo ranked number 3. Tre'Davious White, top 3 cornerback in the league. Stephon Gilmore, best cornerback in the league, in my opinion. It's going to be both quarterbacks trying to move the football effectively on these tough defenses. Now, running the football is not going to be easy for either team, but Buffalo's defense has to also attribute to their scoring. They can take the Patriots off the field left and right. But if they're not putting the ball into the end zone, they're not creating turnovers and putting it into the end zone, I think they're going to have a problem. I don't think Buffalo will not be able to walk into New England and walk away with the W, but it's something about betting against New England at home in a game that really matters. I cannot pick against them. I think they're going to win this game. I don't think they're going to win it handedly, but I think that defense will, they're going to get after Josh Allen. I think he might just throw a couple of footballs to the Patriots defense. We can't forget the fact that Devin McCourty is still, I think he has 5 or 6 interceptions in the league. So he might just be able to get, stingy with the football and take that away. And we can't forget about Stephon Gilmore, 2 picks last week. So who knows how this all plays out? And also, was it Jackson? J.C. Jackson also had 2 picks himself. So I do believe New England will be able to walk away with this W. Their defense will make it interesting. I think that it'll be a low-scoring game, probably like a 13-10, a 16-13, an 18-15 sort of game where we probably don't see no touchdowns. But I'm going to lean more towards New England. I think Julian Edelman, who's like number 6 or 7 in receptions. No, hell no. He's like number 5 in receptions. I think he got like 92 on the year. I think Tom Brady's going to find him early, find him often. Cole Beasley's going to have a big game. Julian Edelman's going to have a big game. Slot receivers, this is going to be their bread and butter. But I'm leaning more towards New England to walk away with this W. I think defensively, they just edge out Buffalo. Not to say their defense is better, but I think they're going to get after Josh Allen a little bit more than the Bills defense will get after Tom Brady. So I think that's what's going to transpire. I got New England winning this game. Then you have a Saturday Night Football. Big time NFC West matchup. The Rams trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. That was a big time loss they had last week against Dallas. They really needed the W there. Now they're in a situation where they have to win and also get help. Because if Minnesota wins the game, it's over for the Rams. Consider them written down in the death note. And where are they going? To San Francisco to take on the 49ers, who had a very tough, crushing loss last week against Atlanta, thus losing their number 1 seed and putting them back into the wild card. This is going to be a very interesting game. However, I do believe that the San Francisco 49ers will walk away with the W. Jimmy G's offense is I believe 6th in the league right now. They're playing very good football, although last week they did lay an egg. But there's the same team that walked into New Orleans and walked away with a W. I do not think that the Rams defense that struggled last week to stop the run, gave up over 200 yards rushing, will be able to stop this 49ers front where they've constantly found themselves running the football successfully. I think they're like number 2 in the league or something like that. It's ridiculous. So I do not see that Rams defense being able to stop them. And on top of that, the 49ers defense, you've seen them being able to get after the quarterback. You've seen constant games where Joey Bosa's in the backfield, Buckner's in the backfield, all these different guys that are getting to the quarterback left and right. I think that's going to happen once again. And if the run game is not at the at the hands of Jared Goff and Sean McVay, and Todd Gurley's out of the game and Brown is out of the game, and they're constantly having to play from behind, this is not a team that's going to catch up. This ain't the same Rams from last year. I think they get knocked out the playoff race tonight, or I should say tomorrow night, and the 49ers walk away with the W, man. I think they're going to win handedly. I say the Rams, it's unfortunate. It's going to be the first time in 2 years you're not in the postseason, but hey, it is what it is. Consider this you being written down the death note, and your hopes of making it back to the Super Bowl is going to be absolutely deleted, because I don't think Minnesota's going to lose. At least I don't think they're going to lose 2 of their last 2 games. Or I should say I don't think they're going to lose their last 2 games. I think they're going to win at least 1. But yeah, I think it's a stretch for the Rams. They're not going to win this game. I think the 49ers will walk away with the W at home. I'm picking them to win. Then we go to Sunday. We got the Washington Redskins hosting the New York Giants. I'll say this. Daniel Jones is apparently slated to start. Eli will not be getting the start, so apparently maybe Eli's last game will be that game at home. However, we did see this Washington team play very good last week against the Eagles. Unfortunately, they collapsed in the last 2 minutes, but still, I think there's going to be a very interesting game, but the story will be Saquon Barkley. I think Saquon Barkley is going to have a sensational game on the ground and also through the air. I think Daniel Jones is going to hit him early, hit him often, but I do think that Washington will take the football away a couple of times from Daniel Jones, thus forcing Eli Manning to enter back into the game. But I still have the Washington Redskins winning this game. Again, I did say this would be a big game for Saquon Barkley, for Washington, though, I think Adrian Peterson is going to have another very good game. He said he's on a mission to get to 1,000, and he's got well over 200 to go. But I think his determination alone, and the team will probably want him to get to that mark as well. So I think he's going to get a lot of carries, and he's going to run the football effectively. I'm going to lean more towards Washington because I do believe that run game will get going. And more importantly, Barkley and Peterson, I believe they're both going to have very good games. But Daniel Jones' struggles will take the Giants out of this game. And on top of that, Eli is going to come in and do Eli things. I do not think he's going to retire with an above 500 record. I think he's going to be one game underneath. And I think this game isn't going to really hurt him because he's not a starter, but he will be attributed it's going to be on Daniel Jones' lost record. And next week when they slate Eli to start, I think that's where that final L is going to come. But I don't have the Giants winning this game. I think the Redskins' defense is going to take the football out of the hands of the Giants quarterbacks, and Adrian Peterson is going to get the job done on the ground. I got the Washington Redskins winning this game. Tennessee, all right, taking on New Orleans. This is going to be very interesting, all right, because it's in Tennessee, but New Orleans, although they have everything clinched up regarding, their division, they're still playing for a opportunity to get a first round bye, so they cannot afford not to play good football. And I'll say this much: I expect them to be able to shut down Derrick Henry. I think that defense will get going, and they're going to take away that run game and force Tannehill to have to beat them. Now, Tannehill has only lost 2 games. Here comes Tennessee. They're calling me right now. Chris Staples is saying, you drink a whole lot of Tennessee whiskey. How dare you choose against the Tennessee Titans? I'm going to make sure you never get any Jack Daniels in your house. But basically, I'm still rolling with the New Orleans Saints to win this game because they have to keep pace to try to get that first round bye, and they refuse to allow that first round bye not to happen to fall into their laps. I expect that run game to get going. I think this will be one of Kamara's better games in the year. I think he's going to be good on the ground and also better through the air. I think it's going to be one of those 90-80 sort of games, and he has more yards through the air. I think that's going to be a safety blanket. More importantly, Michael Thomas cannot be guarded, and I think this game he'll catch over 10 balls. I think Drew Brees is going to make it his mission for Michael Thomas to be the first receiver to ever have over 150 receptions in a season, and I expect him to get at least 10 or 12 this particular game. He's only 10 behind Marvin Harrison. I expect him to break that record this particular game. And because of that, I think their offense is going to be firing on all cylinders. I think they're going to be able to protect Drew Brees' Jesus. I think he's going to get the job done. I think there's going to be a 1 touchdown spread between both teams. I think Tennessee will stay in the game, but ultimately I think the Saints offense is going to be far too much to handle. I cannot foresee anybody being able to guard Michael Thomas, and sneaky Harris or Ginn or even the tight ends with Hill, or hell, even Taysom Hill of all people. He's not a tight end, the other Hill, I think it's Josh Hill. But those guys, they're going to be able to get, balls their direction because Drew Brees will probably, the safety will be over top guarding, Thomas, and on the backside, you'll end up seeing somebody sneak on a post. But I got the Saints winning this game. But again, I think Kamara is going to have a sensational game. I think the Saints defense will shut down Henry, regardless of the fact that, Tennessee's fighting for their playoff lives. And I'm not saying this because, it helps Pittsburgh. No, that's not the case. I just think that this New Orleans team, understanding that they want to get that first round bye, the fact that Green Bay occupies that number 2 spot, and I think Seattle is at number 1 right now. So I think New Orleans will not allow themselves to lose another game. That's why I'm leaning towards New Orleans. In Tennessee, I think they're going to win next week. I'm still picking them to beat Texans next week, regardless of how they play this particular week. Well, I can't say regardless because if they go out there and they get blown out by like 40, that could sway my decision next week. But yeah, I got the Saints winning this game on the road. Steelers taking on the Jets in MetLife Stadium. I'm actually going to be at that game. I'm going to try to get there at least 2.5 hours early, if not 3. So if there are Steelers fans in the building going to that game, let me know. I'm going to be out there. I'm going to make sure I have my data hitting on my phone so I can hey, I'm over here. I'm by this parking lot. I'm trying to go find, Arthur Moats and Bang Bang Steelers gang and see where they're doing the pregame and the tailgating so I can go and meet the other Steelers fans out there. I might just do the post-game right after the game. I'm going to bring my banner and my terrible towel with me. But this particular game, I'm going to lean towards Pittsburgh walking away with the W because defensively, I think they'll be able to take advantage of Sam Darnold. We've seen Darnold, whenever he's under duress, he makes bad decisions. Although the Jets did move the football effectively against that Baltimore defense. That Baltimore defense is not this Pittsburgh defense. They will get after you. They will make new stops. All right? Against Buffalo, although they did have a mobile quarterback in Josh Allen, outside of that one drive with the 50-yard play to John Brown, they virtually took away that Buffalo offense. The two other scores that Buffalo had, the touchdown and the field goal, it was on short fields. Jordan Berry's 20-yard punt that ended up having the Bills take over at the Pittsburgh 40, and also the Tre'Davious White interception that was returned to the 20. Outside of that, they were unable to go the length of the field. All right, this Jets offense, they're not playing very good. All right, I think they're like 31st in the league. Le'Veon Bell is his first return, or I should say first game playing against Pittsburgh, although it's not in Pittsburgh. Nobody's worried about playing in MetLife Stadium. It's not as if it's some sort of, advantage for the Jets, or hell, even when the Giants play. I think Pittsburgh's offense will continue to struggle. I have no faith in Devlin Hodges being able to advance the football. I just feel as if he's a little bit better than Mason Rudolph, but that's not too difficult given how we've seen Rudolph play. I think the run game is everything. You need to have James Conner get over 8 carries. That's ridiculous that he only had 8 last week. Have him at least 15. Also, Juju Smith-Schuster is going to be back as well. I believe Vance McDonald will be playing as well. Get the football into your big-time targets, and you'll be able to walk away with the W. But more importantly, I think we're going to have a pick-six sort of situation. I think maybe even a strip sack. I think T.J. Watt's going to have at least 2.5 sacks. I think the defense will be the reason why the Pittsburgh Steelers win. But the Jets offense, I expect them to take the football out of the hands of Devlin Hodges as well. I think he's going to throw a couple of picks. Unfortunately, they're not going to have C.J. Mosley. I think Jamal Adams will be playing this particular game, but I'm not too sure. Whatever the case may be, I'm leaning towards Pittsburgh to walk away with this W. And it'll be the first time that I see a regular season game with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I expect them to go out there and get a W. Then we got our big-time tank bowl to see who will, battle for the first round, or I should say the first overall pick between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Miami Dolphins in Miami. However, although the Dolphins have a 2-game lead for or I should say Cincinnati has a 2-game lead over the Dolphins for who's going to get the number 1 overall pick. I'm going to lean with the Dolphins to win this game. Both these teams are absolutely atrocious. I don't expect anybody to be watching this game outside of Dolphins fans and Bengals fans. Or hell, I don't expect either of those fan bases to actually tune into the game. But I'm going to lean more towards, I was going to say Buffalo. I'm going to lean more towards Miami to walk away with this W because Devontae Parker has been absolutely murdering defenses left and right over the past couple of weeks, and I cannot foresee anybody from Cincinnati being able to guard him. More importantly, we saw Andy Dalton go out there and throw 4 picks against New England last week. Not to say the Dolphins' defense is any better, but they have, they have the ability to intercept the quarterback. So I expect them to go out there and play a better game. But again, Fitzmagic is going to go out there and do what Fitzmagic does. I'm leaning more towards, Miami to go leave with the W. But I do think Joe Mixon will once again be the only bright spot for the Cincinnati Bengals. But it's not going to be enough for them to leave it with a W. I'm leaning more towards Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are going to leave with this W. All right? 2 teams that absolutely screwed up their playoff hopes. All right, that being the Carolina Panthers and the Indianapolis Colts. This game taking place in Indianapolis. Both these teams, I believe it's 4-game losing streaks for the both of them. Now, I would love to say Indy will get this win at home. I would love to say Carolina will get this win on the road. Oh boy, this is one of those toss-up kind of games. You know what? I'm going to lean more towards Indianapolis. I'm going to say Indianapolis is going to win this game at home. I think the only bright spot for the Panthers, once again, it will be Christian McCaffrey, but Will Grier is going to be starting this game instead of, Kyle Allen. He's been benched, so I'm not sure what to expect from Grier. I think what they're going to do early is probably lean on McCaffrey to go out there and, take up a bulk of the plays for the Panthers. DJ Moore is number 3 in the league, I think, in receiving yards right now. I don't think they're going to be able to get him the football as early and often because he's been benefiting a lot from having Kyle Allen be him being Kyle Allen's primary target. I think Will Grier will probably connect with Curtis Samuel a little bit more, but I'm going to lean more towards the Colts. I think Marlon Mack is going to have a sensational game, have over 100 yards, and take that pressure off of Jacoby Brissett. And when we saw this Colts offense do virtually nothing this past Monday against the New Orleans Saints. Also, I think we're going to see T.Y. Hilton have a good game. I think it's long overdue for him to have an explosive game. I think this is going to be the game for him. I got the Colts winning this game at home. Then, Browns taking on the Ravens. The Ravens with a win here have an opportunity to solidify that first round bye and also home field advantage throughout the playoffs of the AFC. I'll say this. Last time we saw these two teams play, we saw the Browns, pretty much leave with the W against Baltimore, and they murdered them. Now, this is a completely different Baltimore team. In fact, I believe that was the last loss Baltimore had was against the Browns. Now, it is going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out. Now you have the addition of Kareem Hunt. If I'm the Browns, I would say run Nick Chubb early or run Nick Chubb often. But we've seen Lamar Jackson and this Ravens team be virtually unstoppable over the course of this 10-game winning streak. So I'm going to lean more towards Baltimore to leave with this W. Cleveland still does have their playoff hopes alive a little bit, but they have to get a W here. Now, this game, always, the Browns and Ravens are always close games, so I don't expect this to be a blowout by any, means. However, I do think this will come down to the toe of Justin Tucker, and I never bet against Justin Tucker. I think the Ravens are going to walk away with a W here. I think the Browns probably going to come back. I think the Ravens will jump out to an early lead, maybe like a 10-0, 14-0, 13-3 sort of situation. The Browns will fight back. Odell and Jarvis will have two very, very good games. I think the pressure will get after Baker Mayfield, but I think he's going to be able to find his guys. I think the Browns offense will be firing enough to bring themselves back into the game, but ultimately Lamar will have the last possession. He's going to bring them into field goal position. I think Mark Andrews is going to get open because he is Lamar Jackson's favorite target. I don't think Hollywood Brown will have a good game whatsoever, but I think it's going to be just enough to get them into field goal range, and thus we see, Justin Tucker kick the ball through the uprights and good. I got the Ravens winning this game inside what the hell's the name of Cleveland Stadium? Is it Paul Brown Stadium? Paul Brown Stadium. There it is. Then we have the Jaguars traveling to take on the Atlanta Falcons. Now, this is interesting. Both these teams eliminated from playoff contention. Falcons big time win last week. Come back from behind victory. Jacksonville big time win last week. Come from behind victory. Now, this no Calvin Ridley. Gardner Minshew, just had a ton of spunk. You know what? Oh boy, this is the tough one to call. This is a very tough one to call. I'm gonna go Atlanta. I'm gonna go Atlanta at home. I think this is gonna be a very close game. Boy, God, Jacksonville or Atlanta. This is really a toss. This is really a toss-up. I'm gonna go Atlanta. No Calvin Ridley, so that means heavy Julio Jones. A lot of teams struggle to stop it. I think Matt Ryan, Julio is going to be able to connect. I think there's going to be one of those over 200-yard receiving days for Julio. Now, granted, you don't see a lot of consecutive big-time gains for Julio these days, but I think this will be one of those situations where he'll overtake Michael Thomas, maybe even overtake DJ Moore in the receiving yards category. I think he's not going to pass Chris Godwin, but I for sure believe Julio will end this week number 3. For the Jags, it's up to their run game. They have to get that run game going. We saw last week Atlanta's defense did corral that 49ers rush attack for the most part. So I'm curious to see how Leonard Fournette will get going, and even Gardner Minshew running on the ground. But I think Atlanta will take care of business. I think they're going to win this game at home. God damn, I really want to say Jacksonville. This is a very tough call. Yeah, I'm going to go with my gut. I'm saying Atlanta's going to win this game. Next, and now Chargers. Go Chargers. Go, taking on the Oakland Raiders. Now, last time that we saw these two games, or I should say we saw these two teams play, we saw Phillip Rivers throw 3 interceptions. More importantly, 5 in total, but 2 of them ended up getting called back. I'll say this. Oakland, this game, Josh Jacobs is not playing. Because Josh Jacobs is not playing, I'm leaning more towards Los Angeles to walk away with this W. Phillip Rivers and that offense had 7 turnovers last week. I think they're going to right their wrongs. I think they're going to go out there and get a W. We saw the Raiders fail to close games on numerous occasions. In fact, they've had a 3-game losing streak of their own. But I do think the Chargers will get their offense going. Defensively, I don't think either one of these teams will play good. All right, we did see them get after Phillip Rivers left and right the last time that they played, but once again, that run game was able to do whatever the hell that it wanted to do. Melvin Gordon went over 100 yards, but Phillip Rivers is who shot the Chargers in the legs. I think the Chargers are going to learn their lesson. I think they're going to let the run game talk for them, and I think they're going to take care of business at home against this Oakland Raiders team. So I'm leaning towards Los Angeles to walk away with the W. Lions taking on the Broncos. Drew Lock, his fourth start. I'm going to lean more towards the Broncos to walk away with this W. There was a little bit of questions of who would be starting for the Detroit Lions at quarterback, whether it was going to be Blau or the back. I'm forgetting his name. But they were talking about who the hell is going to be starting, but apparently they're leaning more towards Blau to start this particular game. But still, I'm going to choose the Broncos to win this game. I think Philip Lindsay is going to have one of his better games of the season. And also Drew Lock, I think he's going to have protection. I have no confidence in this defense of the Detroit Lions. I don't think they're going to be able to generate a pass rush. We've seen week in, week out, they continue to struggle. I think that for that reason, the Broncos offense will be able to generate at least 17 points. And if you score at least 17 points on the Lions, I do not see them, without Matthew Stafford, being able to make a comeback. I'm leaning with the Broncos to win this game. And their defense, I think Von Miller's going to go out there and finally, make sure people don't forget who the hell he is. A lot of people said he shouldn't have been voted to the Pro Bowl. Hell, in my opinion, he probably shouldn't have. But he's going to go out there and have himself a good performance. I'm leaning more towards the Broncos to win this game. All right, Cardinals taking on the Seahawks. These games are always interesting. All right, but Seattle understanding the severity of the situation, understanding that, hey, this is a Cardinals team that did take down the Browns last week. This is a Cardinals team with a very young quarterback, very similar to Russell Wilson. But still, I do not think the Cardinals defense will be able to stop, the run game of Seattle. You did see Nick Chubb have a very good game last week, but once again, the Browns went and played through Baker Mayfield. I do not think the Seattle Seahawks and Pete Carroll is not going to learn from what they saw. They're going to run Chris Carson early. They're going to run Chris Carson often, and I believe this rushing attack is like number 3 in the league right now. So I expect them to be able to go out there and run the football effectively. And Russell Wilson, he's not going to kill you. He's not going to make mistakes. He's not going to shoot his team in the foot, and he's not going to stick the dagger into his own appendix. I think he's going to go out there and play good football. This is going to be the first season Patrick Peterson isn't voted to the Pro Bowl. But granted, we all know there's always alternates and stuff like that, so he mess around and probably make it later on. Regardless of the fact, I do have the Seahawks winning this game just because I cannot foresee that Cardinals defense being able to stop the run game of the Seattle Seahawks. And because the run game will be working, that's going to open up the entire playbook for Seattle. Unfortunately, we're not going to see any Flash Gordon because he was suspended indefinitely, but still, it's not going to be enough to stop Seattle's offense. I got Seattle winning this game at home, I might add, at CenturyLink, inside the land of the 12 with this W. Then, Dallas taking on Philly. Oh boy, this is a big time game. Playoff implications. Winner takes the NFC East. Well, not necessarily, because the Dallas can wrap it up. If they do lose, then I guess they still have a chance as long as Philly does lose in the Week 17 matchup. But I'll say this much. Boy, I got Philly winning this game. I said I have Philly winning the division. I'm rolling with Philly. I got them through and through. Dallas really impressed me last week with their win against the Rams. I did not see that one coming, but Philly has a whole lot of spunk, man. They've got a whole lot of bravado. They got some tenacity going for them whenever they go out there and they play. That last 2 minutes from Carson Wentz was an absolute masterclass performance. I am a bit concerned about, Philly's defense being able to stop Ezekiel Elliott, but I expect them to go out there, stack the box, and try to take the run away, force Dak to have to beat him. I'm worried about the Philly secondary, though. All right? Amari Cooper, past couple of games, have not had no huge sort of games, and you saw Tavon Austin with that one catch that he had for that touchdown, but that was more of a broken coverage. But I think Philly's going to come to play. Philly showed up against New England. I do not think they're not going to show up for Dallas. I think they're going to come and play good football defensively. And more importantly, I think they're going to put a lot of pressure on Dak Prescott. I think Dak is going to throw at least 2 INTs. I think Zeke is not going to go over 75-yard rushing. I think Philly's going to walk away with this W, man. On the ground, I like what Miles Sanders is doing. Hell, I like what Boston Scott is doing as well. I cannot see, and I ain't talking about the Third Reich. I cannot see, Dallas being able to stop Zach Ertz. I think Zach Ertz is going to have over 10 receptions, over 120 yards. He is going to be the premier target. He is who Carson Wentz has to hit. And more importantly, I do not think Dallas will be able to stop him whatsoever. I don't think those linebackers can cover him. I don't think the safeties can cover him. I think he's going to have at least a touchdown, and like I said, over 120 yards receiving. And hell, he might have over 10 receptions as well. I got Philly winning this game All right, Dallas's defense, I think for the most part they can probably take away the run game. I don't think there's going to be a running game sort of situation, but damn it, Carson Wentz, Zach Ertz, give me them, man. I'm thinking Lincoln Financial Field. They playing at home. Philly playing for the division, trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. They lose, they got to go home. Doug Peterson trying to get that team back to where the hell they once were. God damn it, I'm all in on Philly. It's not going to be cry Eagles cry. It's going to be fly Eagles fly. And them boys going home. I think this is going to be a loss for them. I don't think they're going to win the division. I think early season woes, only winning, 3, or I should say 4. Shit done cut off. But regardless, I got Philly winning this game at home. And it's going to be them boys going back on the plane up there, rolling with the Eagles to win this game at home. Kansas City taking on Chicago. This would have been a big time game with a ton of playoff implication if Chicago did not lose last week. Now, 50 deuce and the Bears defense, I'm sure they're going to be extremely upset at now being eliminated from the postseason. But I'll tell you this much: Kansas City has to win to keep their first round bye hopes alive. But for them, they'll know what they'll be playing for after, I guess. When they go in for their game on Sunday night, they'll know what the fate of the Texans, what the fate of the Patriots, and hell, what the fate of the Ravens is as well. So knowing that they did beat Baltimore, so if Baltimore loses, then they know they can still contend to see if they can get that number 1 seed if Baltimore loses 2 games. But at the same time, if New England wins, then it's going to be kind of hard for them to get that that first round bye, because now next week they have to not only hope for a Jets victory over New England, they have to also take care of business themselves. So for this particular game, they'll already know what their fate's going to be. I don't think Andy Reid is going to rest anybody. I don't think that the Bears offense will be able to get going, regardless of the fact that Kansas City's defense is ridiculously inept. I don't see much of a rushing attack from Chicago. If it becomes a Mitchell Trubisky passing show, we're going to see him turn into Drew Lock last week. I don't see... Oh boy, I'm hungry. I'm not seeing a whole lot of offensive production from those guys. I'm going to lean more towards Kansas City to win this game, regardless of the fact that they're going on the road. I don't think Travis Kelce will be covered. Once again, Tyreek Hill is going to be a hell of a matchup against Kyle Fuller. I don't think Kyle Fuller is going to get the best of Tyreek Hill, but at the same time, I don't think Tyreek Hill is going to get the best of Kyle Fuller. But Mitchell Trubisky, I think, is going to go out there and stink it up. These last 2 games are going to be the reason why this man has to either compete for his job or he loses his job altogether next year. But I'm leaning with Kansas City to win this game. I don't expect their run game to get going, but I would not be surprised if it does. I think Chicago's going to be so heavy and dead set on trying to shut down Patrick Mahomes that the draw plays is going to be wide open. So whether it's LaShawn McCoy, whether it's either one of the Williams, I think that run game is going to get going. If they're heavy on the pass rush for Chicago. But I'm leaning more towards, Kansas City to win this game on the road. And last but not least, big time game. All right, Minnesota just needs 1 win to not only knock out the Rams, but clinch, an NFC playoff berth and pretty much put to bed, who the hell's going to be in the wild card. I'll say this. This is going to be a game where we see the undefeated Minnesota Vikings playing at home, taking on this Green Bay Packers team coming on the road. The biggest concern will be the run game for both teams. Aaron Jones, snubbed of the Pro Bowl. I'm sure he's upset about that. He's going to want to go out there and show people, hey, you shouldn't have snubbed me. Dalvin Cook, he has to get going for the Minnesota Vikings. More importantly, I believe Adam Thielen will be back for this particular game. Then again, I'm not too sure. I do think he'll be back. Let me just make sure. But regardless, this is going to be a game where I think that Green Bay is going to walk away with the W. I think they're going to wrap up their division, clinch their division, and give the Vikings that loss. All right, but unfortunately for the Rams, I don't think they're going to end up winning their game. So still, the Vikings will end up, getting, their playoff berth. But they say it's Adam Thielen. Yes, I believe Adam Thielen will be back for this game. Yes, indeed. He played last week too. So yeah, Adam Thielen is going to be out there on the field. I think he's going to add to, the offense for the Vikings, but still, I think the run game for Green Bay is going to be activated. And Aaron Rodgers, although he's had a season where you looked at it like, I don't think he should have been in the Pro Bowl. I think he's going to have another good performance. Whenever he plays against Minnesota, he always ends up throwing out some next performance out of nowhere that nobody expected. Them going on the road, playing inside Minnesota. I don't think it's going to be any sort of Minneapolis miracle. I'm leaning more towards Green Bay to win this game, wrap up, their division, leave with a W, and, give Minnesota that L. I can't see it happening. I can't see Minnesota winning this game. Granted, they're undefeated at home, and this is something that a lot of people say, hey, I don't think Minnesota is going to be an easy defeat at home, but we've seen them go down 20-0 to Denver before, and if that happens, this time around against Green Bay, I don't think Green Bay is one of those teams that's going to squander that lead. But I got Green Bay winning this game. Now let me just run down who my picks are once again for you. I'm leaning more towards Tampa Bay to win against Houston. The only way that Houston wins this game is if, Jameis throws 2 INTs. But I'm saying Tampa Bay. All right, I got the Patriots taking down the Bills. I got the 49ers beating the Rams. I got the Broncos beating the Lions. I don't know why I put this pinky up before the ring finger. I got the Broncos taking down the Lions. I got the Chargers beating the Raiders. I got the Falcons beating the Jaguars. Ravens beating the Browns. Colts beating the Panthers. Dolphins beating the Bengals. Steelers beating the Jets. Saints beating the Titans. Giants losing to the Redskins. I should have just said the Redskins beating the Giants. All right. Eagles beating the Cowboys. Seahawks beating the Cardinals. Chiefs beating the Bears. And finally, the Packers beating the Vikings. And that has been my 2019 NFL Week 16 pregame prediction show. And I have been your host, the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Chiseled Adonis. I am doing Sunday night football commentary. I'm also doing Saturday night football commentary as well, live on the Hot Mic app. I will be live on YouTube as well. I might just do the first half only on YouTube and do the second exclusively on Hot Mic, so you stay tuned for updates. Initially, I was going to put out a poll saying, all right, select between which games you want me to do on Saturday, but it turns out I think there's only 2 games available to do on Hot Mic, that being the Sunday night game and then the Sunday afternoon at 4:25 between the I think it's Patriots and Bills at 4:25, and then 49ers and Rams at 8:30. So because it's only those 2, I think I'm not gonna do back-to-back, so I'll just do the Saturday night game. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Hopefully you guys tune in. And for anybody going to the Steelers game, hey, reach out, let me know that you're going. I had a couple of people told me that they're going. I'll let you guys know. We can meet up, chat it up, take a photo, here and there. I'll be out there with you guys, man. But until next time, I'm expecting an exciting Week 16 football. Let me know who your picks are. If you disagreed with me, if you agreed with me, hell, most people end up disagreeing with me, but hey, who knows? Fantasy championship for you guys who play fantasy. I'm excited for this week. Time to go get myself some food because I am Grand Goût. Rosetta Stone, Haitian Creole, motherfucker. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night. Have yourself some fun. Stay warm. Get some hot chocolate in your system. And damn it, Christmas is on the horizon. I'll see you guys this Sunday.